Alright, welcome back guys to a new video. In today's video I will be explaining how to create shapes. I should have explained that earlier, my bad, but I will explain today how to create shapes in pixel art. And because I realized recently after the first video that I probably should have explained this topic first, because it's probably what many beginners and pixel artists are looking to make, as it will be fundamental or very helpful in creating their different arts and different things in pixel art. So shapes, how do you create shapes in pixel art? Well, it's not too complicated, but I would say it's not also the easiest thing to learn. The easiest shape in pixel art, however, to create would be the square, obviously, because pixel art is literally made out of tiny squares. And so the smallest square you can make, or the smallest shape you can ever make in pixel art, is just making, well, it could be as big as the canvas, or it can be even smaller than that. But I think the easiest shape to make in pixel art, as opposed to other shapes, would be the square. And just something as simple as that. Just scroll in so you can see it. So just something as simple as this: you've got your basic square, you've got your basic shape for pixel art. Now if you want to go bigger, it's just literally going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pixels. You have a bigger square, and so on and so forth. So even with bigger squares, you may not necessarily know the size, but just keeping each part as big as the other, I'll just make that a little bigger, and yeah, you have a bigger square. Squares, I'd say, are the easiest thing to create in pixel art. As I said earlier, they are literally what make up pixel art, tiny squares. So they aren't too complicated to make. I think the next two shapes will be more complicated than squares, but they more or less follow the same principle. It just depends on how you look at it. So the next shape I'll show you how to make will be the triangle. Now for the triangle, it's a little bit different. You put the smallest triangle I say you can make in pixel art is this one, where you put about 3 pixels and then 1 in the middle. And so that from afar can be seen as a triangle, and then when you zoom in it looks something like that. And actually I think I'll just move this over there. And so the next one, or the bigger triangle, will be something a bit longer. I'm using the line tool right now, in case you're wondering how I'm drawing such a perfect line. I'm using the line tool. It's L on a sprite. I will be making a sprite specific guide later in the future, but for now it's just a little quick tip. And so with something like this, you can either go inside, so to the second pixel here, or you can start from the corner there. I don't really have much of a preference, so I'd say right now I'll just go from the corner over there. And then you want to make your pixels just long like this, but you want them to be diagonal, so no second lines over in that spot, or lines that look like this, just 1 pixel after 1 pixel, so kind of like up and then to the side, up and to the side. So the same thing here with doing a pixel like that, and then you would want to go back and then erase these extra pixels. But as you can see, because we started from the side there, we have the situation where we have 2 pixels in the middle, but still a basic triangle. It's nothing too fancy, but it's a triangle shape. The other design, or the other way you can make it, is by drawing the same, or about the same length, and then going in from here. Now, why would you want to go in from here as opposed to this? It's simply because it's easier to find a more central point, I would say. Because as you can see, by going in from inside rather than from the side, when we take away all the extra pixels, we are left with a more, I say, triangular shape, and it has a middle point, as you can see right there, right in the middle there. You can see the middle points right there. And it's the same thing with the same concept with the bigger square. You just make it a lot bigger. And if we're going to use the outside method, as I would call it that, then it's the same thing of going that way diagonally, going that way the other way, making sure that your lines are indeed just diagonal and straight with no weird looking lines. And as you can see, once again, we have the situation with 2 pixels, and if you were to make the sort of the same shape but going in from inside, just 1 pixel inside, and you drag it diagonally that way, going from inside, and do the same thing, once again, you get your middle point right about there. So it's not too complicated, but it will require getting used to. This, I would say, this first one over here would be more of a more softer triangle, so maybe not as sharp as this one. It's a more softer shape, and then these would be and then these ones over here, these 2 would be for more sharp shapes and sharp edges. And so the final shape that I'll be showing you how to make is the circle. Now for the circle, it is a little bit different. I would say there are 2 methods of creating it. You can make your 4x4 square, and then after you make your 4x4 square, then you can go ahead again. I'm just going to use a lighter color so you can see the added parts. You can go ahead on the sides, add that, add that, add that, and add that, and you've got sort of a square or sort of a circle, but it doesn't look too round per se. So we'll make the square just a little bit bigger. I think we'll make it a 3x3, and then we'll go ahead and erase these parts. Actually, I think I'll increase these parts here, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Yes, and so from there then we can add the parts. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can go the more advanced, or what I say, the outline method, where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, then you want to make 1 diagonal pixel, just like the triangle here, 1 diagonal pixel on either side, and then you drag another 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another diagonal pixel, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, another one, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see already, it looks a lot more circular and less blocky, but more like a rounded shape. Now, so what about when you get to bigger circles? So it's the same concept. I'm just going to switch to the line tool here. You drag it, and then if it's a bigger circle, you obviously have more diagonal pixels here as opposed to just 1 here. You have maybe 2 here. You drag it down, preferably, or better to have the same length, and then 1, 2, drag that, 1, 2, and drag that, and as you can see, it's a circle here as well. So in this case, if you wanted to use the shading technique, I'm just going to use the circle for example. First I'm going to copy this because I know I'm going to need it later, but first I would fill it in and copy it. So if you want to use the shading technique, for example, from the previous video, you would simply, well, my method is I paste it and I drag this one to the side. I'm just gonna show a quick shading tip. I drag the circle to the side. I go ahead and I change to the fill tool. It's G on my keybinds, change to the fill tool and fill it with a darker color. And then you want to go back here and select this, and you basically just drag and drop, and from there After doing that, then you can go ahead and fill this part in with a darker shade, or yeah, an even darker shade than the first one. Fill that in, and then go ahead and fill this part in with this, just for an outline or sort of finish. And just gonna drag that there. And as you can see already from afar, it looks kind of like a button or something along those lines. So it's just something simple. It's not too complicated. Hopefully it's been easy to understand, but that's basically how you make shapes in pixel art and how you can easily create them. For the square or for the pixel or the square, it's just the smallest one you can make is the single pixel, next one is the 2x2, and so on and so forth. For the triangle, the smallest one you can make is making 1, 2, 3 and 1 in the middle, and then the others you drag. And then if you start from outside, so where the line stops, you would usually get a more softer edge at the top there, but if you start from inside, you will almost always get a singular point at the middle. And for the circle, it almost follows the same as the square. You make your square and then you add the edges on the outside, but neglecting the pixel so it's not ending up as an actual square. Or you can use the outline method and make the first one a diagonal pixel, same side, diagonal pixel, same length, diagonal pixel, all around. And yeah, that is pretty much it. And again, apologies for not explaining this earlier, but I hope this helped you a lot, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Take care, make sure to love yourself, and I'll see you later.